Hey, what's up, everyone? So, yeah, I just paid for the subscription for Streamlabs so I can stream on multiple platforms at the same time. So that's very, very cool. Let me see if it's working here. In the meantime, we can pull up FEFE. Things are looking good. The holder count is growing. Look at that, 1839, 1,839 holders. Things are looking great. We upgraded the streaming platform. Now, every time I stream, I'm going to be trying to stream on everything: TikTok, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Trovo, everything at the same time, every time, always, right? We're going to get it everywhere. We're going to get Fefe everywhere. And we're just going to try and make the streams better and better. Um, we're going to listen today to a very good space, okay, that we were in. Uh, Look at that, 635 people tuned in. Jules, the host, shout out to him. Give him a follow, guys. Um, Let me share this space out. And we're going to be listening to this space. We were in it. We were talking. We got posted on the jumbotron at the top of the space for all the people to see. There are some other great projects in there, and us as well. So, and a lot of the stuff they talk about is just super bullish. Just about how like CTOs are becoming legitimate and being taken seriously, becoming real brands, decentralized, which is good for the institutional investors and the big players because they want a decentralized brand company to invest into, not something that's a cabal where they have a large majority of the supply, which they can then get dumped on or controlled by these cabals, right? These decentralized communities can actually be treated like a brand company that these bigger investors can also join in on the fun with these meme coins, aka companies, right? Or brands, which who knows? They might be part of big things, festivals or on soda cans or, um, I don't know, sponsoring, different things like races or, doing kind of stuff with like Red Bull or something. Who knows? So the possibilities are endless. And look at that. We are streaming on both YouTube and Twitter at the same time. So I couldn't be more happy with that. What was the other one that I'm streaming on? I'm trying to figure it out. Well, whatever. There's three platforms I'm streaming on right now. Forget the third one. But let's see. Okay. Oh, it's Twitch. Right now we're on Twitter or X. We're on we're on Twitch, and we are on YouTube. The three big ones that I wanted to be on in the first place. The other ones are going to take some like, approvals and stuff, but it'll be very cool. Twitch requires additional permission to send messages. Click here to grant permission. Okay, authorize. Awesome. So now I should be able to message or see messages from the Twitch community as well. So that's very, very cool. And then also Twitter. I just did some little message on both ends. All right, now let's go ahead and listen to the space. I'm gonna turn off my mic I hope you guys enjoy. We're gonna listen to the whole thing, or I don't know. We'll actually let's see because it's a 3 hour space. It's a 3 hour space, so maybe we'll skip ahead to where we were talking. Let's jump into it.
Of speed. Like if they just put their scammy energy towards an actual project, I'm telling you, they would have the bet. It would be 10 billion. They'd be up there. They would be insane. But that's something that's top. I think one of the ways pretty solid.
60
Three books, three frogs. You'll see it on the timeline.
million dude is doing really great. Personally, I have gotten and workspaces, in the washrooms, in nightclubs. You never know. You might just be walking on.
So Kendu is also a CTO project, so they're doing good. So that's very cool.
The streets, and you might see a can do, but 80 million all-time high distribution with 50 to has lots of.
And I know that you and I mean like nine is a and but I've heard a lot about Kindu.
I'll keep.
Have
Yeah.
it already in there. It's been vibe, bro. Love it, man. Thanks, brother. Thanks for stopping by. Did you have anything you wanted to add, Soka?
Sorry, I'm just finding the part
I just wanted to say, Kendu, that was really
where
well
the
done,
FEFE
and I
team
echo
talks.
everything that Jules said. Kendu Inu, I believe that this is the original like lore behind Kendu Inu. Is this is like the Inu to unite all Inus? Do I have that correct? Am I remembering
Shout
this
out to
correctly?
Jay Heasy for talking.
Do I not have that correct, or I can't hear?
No, I think his mic went out, but I remember that.
Oh.
I remember something like that about
Something like that, right? Yeah, yeah. And the other thing that I'm kind of fascinated by, which again I'm sure he'll be back, but it's a predominantly like Reddit driven project. Like yes, there's socials elsewhere, but I feel like it is big on Reddit. Whenever I go on Reddit, when I'm like in complete absolute degen mode, it is spoken about quite a bit. So that's interesting because not many projects that I follow are predominantly on Reddit. So
Yeah. Love it. Let's go over to Jay. Jay Heasy. What's up in the house, man? How you going?
Hey, Jules. Shout out, man. Thanks for having me up. Soka, what's going on, man? Always a pleasure. John, nice to see you there on stage. Shout out to Saga and Mr. Anderson, my boys down in the audience. Shout out to Ishan and Kendu because, man, that you are a tough act to follow, my brother. Much love to Kendu. Anyway, thank you so much for having me up. Appreciate the time. I'm going to open with the question. Are you fucking bullish enough? Probably not. Okay. I'm here on behalf of FEFE. All right. FEFE is the third and final frog from Matt Fury's book, Mind Viscosity. You guys know Pepe, right? King of memes. He's going to melt faces this cycle. All right. He's from the Boys Club. You know Hoppy from the Night Riders. Did some big things earlier this cycle. Going to do some big things later this cycle. So I'm here to tell you about FEFE. All right. We are a Ethereum meme coin. We launched back in July, ran up to 9 million. We had some issues, right? We had 50K from our marketing wallet get stolen by some bad actors. And we are a CTO at this point. We had a bunch of Chads from the community come together, grab this project by the bootstraps and pull it back to where you see it now, sitting at about 2.2 million, a little over 1,800 holders. Saga spearheading everything. We've had people from all over the globe step up, join the FEFE family. Our unofficial motto is FEFE is family, right? It's a family vibe. We want everybody to win this cycle. Tired of the PvP. The Matt Fury narrative is huge. 3 books, 3 frogs. You'll see it on the timeline. We're out here. Our TG is a vibe. Just some great, great people that have come together. Big holders holding the floor, small holders chipping in. Everybody's contributing. We have community members doing animations on their own, cranking out memes, making a song, FEFE anthem. I did want to touch to rectify what we had happen with the marketing wallet. We created a multi-sig wallet that's being funded by the community. We are fully organic, no paid marketing, no paid shilling. We are obviously positioning ourselves for listings and have been in conversations with exchanges and market makers. So we have plans to be around, right? We want to be the next legendary coin from the Matt Fury universe, the third and final frog, FEFE. Join the family. You'll see us on the timeline. Get in the TG. Check us out. We've had some big eyes on us already. Seen them trying to sneak into our TG, but we spotted them. So there's eyes on the project, guys. We would love to have you join the FEFE family. It is just a vibe. We are going to be killing it the rest of this cycle and beyond. We're not going anywhere. So if you have any questions, love to answer them. Hit me up, shoot me a DM, jump in the TG. Sorry, I'm running on 3 hours of sleep and I'm over caffeinated, so I'll cut it there.
No, man, I appreciate the show. I've always wondered when Matt Fury, like how many frogs and friends does he have? I don't know if anyone can get me an official account just when I think I know it. But that's no shade on this project. I like the fun, I like the branding, I like the character. I like uh I like that it's on ETH, regular ETH. Because I think that the meme coin run on that has not really, it really hasn't hit. And what I believe to be true is the more meme coins that hit real hard on native ETH, the better some of my conviction plays on base will do. And so I think you guys being on regular ETH, I think you could catch the first wave of that. Yeah. I like
Yeah,
it.
I mean
Never
ETH
to-
is king, man. It's we're a beta play, right? Pepe is a beta to Ethereum, and we're part of that. There is 3 books by Matt Fury, and there is 3 frogs, one from each book. So to answer that question, our volume has been crazy for such a small cap. I think we're pulling around 200K volume today, so it's consistently high across the board. People are interested, right? So yeah, ETH is awesome. We're happy to be on that chain.
Yeah. Soka, any thoughts?
Yeah. Who are the devs behind this? Are you a dev or
No, I'm just a community member with a moderately sized bag, man. I'm just hyped on this project because of the community. The dev abandoned the project, and it was CTO'd.
do you know who the devs were before?
I'd have to direct you to Saga on that one. I did not get in at the very beginning on this. He's down in the chat.
No worries, no worries. Cool. I mean, hey, look, man, the CTO meta is here. Who knows?
Check out our videos, guys. They're hilarious. And shout out to Token Motion Studios for putting out our video content. Check out our X page.
I actually was looking at that one, the Church of Cryptology or whatever it was. That one looked funny.
Oh yeah, it's great stuff, man. And that's all community driven, right? That's people that stepped up and did that on their own without anybody asking them to. They just said, "Hey, we made a video. You guys want to check it out?" And then now it's like a 6-part series, and they're gonna keep cranking them out. It's phenomenal.
That's so cool, man. That's so cool. Yeah, pin something up in the jumbo from your guys' community. An official post, that'd be awesome.
I'm on it. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you.
I'll keep an eye on this one. I'm getting real bullish on ETH plays, bro.
Oh yeah, it's gonna just rip. It's liquid. It hasn't even started yet. You look at the stables sitting there, and there's more money bridging back into ETH than is bridging onto all other chains right now. So it's gonna go insane.
Yep.
Don't sleep on ETH, guys.
Appreciate you coming up. I'm gonna move on to the next one. Dr. Fluffington. What's up, Dr. Fluffy?
Oh man, what a day. I gotta tell you, I've been grinding bones all day, and I just was happy to come up here and speak to you guys. Love you guys. Also, see my 1776 brothers down there. How's it going? Well, anyway, if you don't know me, Dr. Fluffington, the base villain, the bad guy, everybody, there's always got to be a bad guy. I'm the bad guy. If you want to be part of the base villains, you can come join our secret lair. Come down. We'll show you a thing or two about pain and fame. But anyway, I was actually hearing about the CTO business that you guys were all talking about earlier. We're actually a DTO, if you didn't know about that.
Oh, what's a DTO?
Oh, it's a dev takeover. Yeah, so we originally had a dev. He got addicted to crack. He went to circus rehab. He's come back. You might know him. I had to actually torture the drugs. I had to make him like sweat pouring out of him. But basically, his name's CypherSec David. He also made a launch pad and everything that we launched off of, and it was the greatest launch ever. But he's taken back over, so we're really pushing forward now. You might have seen some of the content that we've been putting out. It's basically just torturing every meme that we can find. I've got a huge stash of chloroform, so you better watch out, you muscly little frog. I need some frog legs. And I have a hunger, a craving for frog legs. And it's great that Matt Fury actually has made all these different characters because I can get all the frogs in all the different flavors. I've had blue frogs, green frogs, fat frogs, all kinds of shit.
I don't know
Bull-
why this guy sounds like Bull Shark to me, like Bull Shark's nephew or something.
It
like
is
that.
Bull Shark. It's
It
Bull
might be.
Shark, and because notice he's not up on stage. I sent him a request earlier. They were on stage together the other day, but I think it's the same person, flicking back and forth on the mics. I'm gonna go look up this market cap. Let's see if it looks like doo doo or not. Does
Yeah,
it look
it's
like
pure
hot
shit.
doo-doo?
Pure shit.
Pure shit, isn't it? I mean, at least you're honest, bro. bro, this is looking pretty bad, man. It's looking pretty bad.
Yeah. Well, you got to start off bad if you want to be bad. You know what I mean? That's what I say. You start from the bottom like I did, like the gutter. My mom left me. She got knocked up by some other cat. Came around. There was always cats around. Every time she would get in heat, there'd be a new guy around coming in. And she left me, and I raised in the streets, so I know what the trenches are. I've
Dr.
sharpened my
Fluffy's
claws
always
there.
know what the trenches are. What's going on, Dr. Fluffy?
Hey, buddy, how are you?
Doing good, man. It's a rough day. It's hard being a cat, an alley cat out here.
Yeah, it's funny. They think I'm you. I guess they think we sound alike. Maybe. You know what?
But what you're saying is you or
Maybe.
me, and I'm you. You crashed
Yeah,
right into that one, brother.
I know. What the hell? But maybe
I
it's
like to
because we're
crash on
brothers.
dumpsters. I like to crash on top of roofs, on top of car hoods. I crash everywhere, man.
Is your mom a
All
Siamese?
right, this is fucking weird now.
What the fuck is happening
guys-
right now? I just gotta know.
Exactly. You guys sound exactly alike, and I'm in enough space with Shark and Dr. Fluff. This is the same fucking person.
Yeah,
not.
I don't mean
I
to
swear
jump
it's
in,
not.
but that was fucking hilarious. So I'll give you that. But that, like, you are definitely one and the same. I love you. I appreciate you. I see you in every space I'm in, and that was fucking hilarious. So keep on going.
Yeah, no, we're two different people. I'm just good at mimicking people.
All good, brother. It was great.
Oh, we got Mateo coming up. Yeah.
Yo.
This seems to happen every time I come up here. Everything goes to shit.
Yeah, it's happening. I think Nobu's about to come up here, so we can definitely round that off for you.
Oh, here we go.
So do frogs or sharks do better in the ocean?
Sharks. I don't even think frogs
Sharks,
live in the ocean,
right.
buddy.
I was about to say. I feel like I can answer that.
Well, if we have a bull shark and a frog, can the frog out jump the shark?
Absolutely.
What do you mean? If there's a shark in the ocean, the shark if there's a frog in the ocean, the frog will die.
Yeah, the shark wins that jump.
Right. That's like saying who does better on a
Well,
lily
that's what I'm
pad, a
saying.
frog
Like
or a shark.
that
Like
was
the ocean is the
that was
shark's
one insane
habitat.
the battle of the two voices. So is the shark gonna eat
And bull shark, who's
the bull shark?
None of it.
or
The same table, like people would pay us to be there because it would turn into pure fucking comedy.
Dude, John, if you and I were at the same table, people would definitely pay to be there.
I'd probably pay to see that.
All right, we're off the rails. My co-host is not helping at all.
wait, I'm not helping.
I didn't mean
bringing
to
it
jump
back.
in. That was just fucking hilarious. So I had to say something. Sorry.
I'm bringing it back, dude. I asked here. Okay, we'll meet everybody. Jules, how much would I have to pay? I'm just curious. You know, this is the question that the people want. How much would we have to pay you? 20, 30 soul, 50 soul, 100 soul?
34.50.
25 grand. All right. And it's never going to happen. I ain't going to have dinner with these guys. But
All
that
right.
was super weird. But what's going on, Soka? Are you alive? Are you okay over there? Space is just leaking
Glitching.
numbers right
Glitching.
now. Soka's over there like, hey, how's it going, everybody?
What I heard is the going rate for dinner with me and Bull Shark is 25 grand, and I'm okay with
It's
that.
actually
Okay,
50.
you
It's
need
actually 50
you
grand
need
a piece.
me to bring the reins in. I'm not asleep though. I've been sitting here. I've been listening to the shills. I've been wanting to make some comments here. Then you brought up bull shark, and I will say this: there's a very common phrase in sports that's very important. It's okay to have one knucklehead on the team. You cannot have two. And so, you know, when we're rounding out our stage, it's important to understand the stage composition. It's difficult to have multiple knuckleheads, and it's okay.
Soka, you know, no matter how much of a knucklehead you are, I just want you to know that I will always love you and you will be my number one knucklehead brother.
Hey, that's much love, man. You almost I crashed while listening to that. I was so excited.
I know, crash and burn, brother. Crash and burn.
Somebody say crash.
I'm gonna go.
Whoa.
All right. What's
Dude,
up,
these
Mr.
spaces are glitching. Like the PFPs are jumping all back and forth. The mics
I know,
are
dude.
muting,
Yeah, what is
unmuting.
that about?
I
That's
don't
new.
know. It's kind of weird.
I don't
It's
know.
been going on all day, and my access force closed like 16 times at me today.
It's like
I've been
musical
literally
chairs.
mid speech, and X just closes out on my phone.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a bit weird today. It's
It's like
even
constantly
it's just
shuffling
gotten
the
a little bit
PFPs.
weirder because Shill Turner got here. Nobu's here. I think if we start shitting on Nobu, I think he'll come up. He'll talk. But that's actually like really bad. Like sorry, this is not the night space. I have to remind myself of that. What's up, Mr. Shill Turner?
What up? What up?
How are you
Any
guys
doing?
doing?
updates on Rizzo, brother?
Yeah. The dev's in Singapore right now. He said he's making some solid connections there, and I kind of talked to Jules about it a couple days ago. But basically, I think we just unfortunately had what a lot of projects have, and that is a KOL group that got supply that didn't do what they said they would do, and they
A
were
bunch of
distracted
jeeters.
with other projects. They slowly were just jeeting and just killing any momentum we could get. So, kind of working that out. But we're taking it as an opportunity to onboard new team members and stuff too, because there were other people that were involved early that were supposed to do certain jobs and they didn't do it, which ultimately led to me having to take on their work. So I think we're just going to onboard new people and kind of treat it as a new foundation to build from. That's all you can do. Most people just give up and fucking move on, but I think it's too strong of narrative. We got great content. I think we got a good core community, so we'll keep grinding, building it out. It's gonna work. I can feel it, and I've already invested tons of time, energy, money into it. I put my money where my mouth is, so I'm definitely not giving up on this thing. We're gonna grind it out. We saw. I mean, just recently, with this recent green wave that's come in, we saw some projects that were very stagnant that it's absolutely sent. So I think that's why hopefully that gets people to like actually build and not give up on projects too easily. I mean, that Nero, we talked about it before, that Nero narrative now with like whether it was insider or not, I don't give a fuck, because I think it creates a great narrative that, you know, communities that continue to grind and build get rewarded for it. So yeah, it's I think exciting times ahead for the meme coin space and for community driven projects.
I think the CTO meta it's an intriguing one to me because I think it's one that everyone wants to succeed, and it's very difficult to really usher in and pull off because the projects that capture the attention in this attention economy really are the ones that run in an aggressive way to the upside. And when you have a CTO, it's usually a group of very well-meaning community members coming together that have maybe been successful in other projects, working together to try to make something happen. And while that is very admirable and something that we can all get behind and support, you have to give those teams time to kind of work through what the plan is, talk through what the plan is, start to execute the plan, and then hope that the plan is executed well. And there's very likely to be bumps and bruises along the way. When you have a more professional team, I know we talk about them, they're affectionately called the cabal or the shadowy figures behind the scenes. They have all this stuff already kind of wrapped up. And when a project launches, they have unlimited funding, unlimited access to connections with exchanges, and they have a very wide net to capture attention via a KOL network. So I think that's the thing that has to be resolved in order for the CTO meta to really take hold and be sustainable. I think it can get there, but to me, that's the main problem with the CTO meta and where we are right now. And while we all hope that it gets there and we all want it to happen, unfortunately, it's one of those things where unless you are actively supporting CTOs in a significant way with your buys, your holding, your support on spaces, your likes, your follows, etc., then how is the CTO going to really reach the heights that it's going to reach, right? When you have a company, go take it out into the real world. You have a startup company that's up and coming, it's doing its thing, and it launches a product. The product's pretty cool, but it has some bugs, it has some glitches because it doesn't maybe have the polish that a bigger brand might have. And then all of a sudden, the bigger brand comes out with a knockoff that's just more polished, better marketing, and all of a sudden, your startup with your product that was your idea originally is beaten down by someone who comes out with a bigger, better version. And that's why whenever we talk about what came out first and people kind of are putting that in their pitch, yeah, it kind of matters a little bit. But at the end of the day, people are going to really gravitate towards the project that's going to make them more money. So that's the challenge that I think CTOs have to overcome. And I think it's a big one. I think it's a significant one. And I don't know how to really kind of overcome some of that. Because trust me, if you were asking me which project do you want to support, a CTO project of a group of, an eclectic group of people who are coming together trying to just get a project off the ground because they love it and they care about it, or a project that's run by a well-oiled machine slash team, well, I would root for the CTO, but I'd probably invest in the well-oiled machine, knowing that, where that eventually ends up. But Shill Turner, I think that because you opened this talking a little bit about the CTO and pushing and grinding and that meta really being ushered in, right? Do you have any thoughts on that? Because I think that we're navigating a little bit off the open mic portion of the show. We can obviously go back into it, but I think that this is a reasonable conversation for anyone who's like, the CTO meta is here. How do you view that gap between a CTO and a more polished launch, whatever you want to call it, cabal, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. Just the opposite of a CTO.
So for me, the CTO thing, there's one word that I think of, and that's accountability. So with the CTO, there's no accountability in that, like if someone does a CTO, they can push it, and then they can kind of drift off into the shadows, and everyone's like, well, it was a CTO, like it's not just one man effort type thing. Whereas like a project that was launched by a team, especially if they're upfront with who they are or anything like that, then there is accountability because it was your project. You came up with the concept and you had all the pieces in place, or should have had all the pieces in place to make it successful. So there's more accountability with regards to it. I like CTOs because I love seeing people work for their bags. But the confusing part for me is why it seems that when there is a team involved, like people are less inclined to work for their own bags. Because if you had a great team and you had a team and you had a community treating it as if it was a CTO, it almost would seem like it would be the perfect blend of a project. So it's a confusing kind of time for me because I do think it can be a positive thing and it can be a negative thing because I think a lot of people will use it as an opportunity to run stuff up and then kind of move on. I've personally been involved in a handful of CTOs and I've gotten blamed for doing just that, but I can assure you that I've been writing up like tens of thousands of dollars worth of tokens and then ultimately selling for like break even because in my opinion, if you take on a project or take something on, you're going to have to send it to multi millions and have liquidity there for people that you shilled and brought in to be able to realize their gains. You shouldn't be the only one profiting. But yeah,
I
I think the accountability thing's my main issue with it.
I have quite a few points with what you brought up, and I think that this is an important discussion. So again, hey, Jules got on me. He said, "Hey, we're bleeding. We're gonna bring the viewership back, baby." We got around 60 people in here. Let's get that room shared because we're gonna have a conversation about this. And She'll Turner, I think you sparked a good one. So you talked about accountability. I'm going to take these in order, and we don't have to belabor each point, but we're going to take these a little bit in order. I definitely challenge the idea that a team has more accountability. I think that I've never seen an industry like crypto and meme coins specifically where there's less accountability across the board. It is so easy. Maybe politics. Sorry, politics is probably the worst, but crypto is, and meme coins is probably a very close second. I've seen teams and people behind the scenes and influencers and whoever do some of the craziest things, not even really try to justify them in any capacity, more just like, whoa, can you believe how much money we can make if we just click this button right now? Boom, clicked. See ya, everyone. Hey, but don't you think people will get mad? Nah, we'll just blame someone else. Okay. And it happens over and over and over again. So before I move on to point number two, what's your thoughts on that? When you said accountability is something where you think there's more accountability, I'm not knocking you for saying that, but I just think there is zero accountability across the board in crypto because it's such like a faceless place to be, and people are not held accountable because they're just going to go to the next project and try to do a very similar thing with very few repercussions. Go ahead, Chill.
Yeah, so then let me make it clear. I mentioned more accountability versus less. I don't think there's a whole lot of accountability regardless. But like for instance, if I were to launch a project and it were to not go so well, I think I would have more DMs, more upset people at me directly, as opposed to if I was a part of a CTO. Everyone would be like, "Dude, it was a CTO. The guy brought it from call it 8K to 800K, and people made money, and it was a great effort." Whereas if you did the same thing with your own project and your own project only lasted a week or two, you would have an angry mob probably coming after you, people bitching and moaning. That being said, if you posted a great play 2 days later, everyone forgets about it. In crypto, it seems that you're only accountable for the last call. There's a lot of people, unfortunately, that have very big platforms in this space that I've seen do some very, very dirty things. I know you guys have seen it as well, and they continue to have big platforms because this last play that they called made a bunch of people a lot of money. It's like, well, yeah, but the fucking 30 others that they call rugged a lot of people. So yeah, like you said, there's definitely no accountability, but I think the accountability shifts towards the team in a slight, a
I,
little bit more.
I think that that's fair, and I see hands shoot up, and we'll go to them in a moment. But one of the things that I think resonated with me when you said they have, there's people out there who do things that are not above board, and regardless of who they are, big account, small account, doesn't matter. When we're talking like a CTO, I think that it goes a little bit hand in hand with a movement that I see happening in crypto. I think for crypto and meme coins, again, specifically to survive in the way that we want them to survive, because there's a lot of potential in meme coins. There's a lot. And the way for them, that potential to be achieved, it goes hand in hand with CTOs, but it is if someone does something underhanded, if someone does something nefarious, it should be they're excommunicated from our community, from our small space. That doesn't happen right now. And Jules is giving thumbs down, so I'll get his perspective in a moment. But I'm going to give you an idea of poker. So in poker, when I was first starting back in the day, coming up, it was very much if this doesn't impact you, you kind of stay out of it. You know, and by the way, poker was an area where there was a lot of these scams, a lot of problems. And let's say, Shill, you said, hey, can you loan me 10K? I got you. I'll get it back. And I was like, okay, cool. Here's your 10K. And then you never paid me back. Well, if I never outed you, which by the way, back in the day didn't happen, then you just went on and continued on taking people for 10K until eventually I'm at dinner with someone and they say, dude, God, man, I just got scammed for 10K. And I'm like, oh, dang, who? Oh, this guy Shill. Oh, yeah, well, he got me too. Oh, and he got that other person. And he got that other. Like the blight of Shill in that scenario never stops. Where now poker's gone through a bit of a revolution where people will maybe even a little bit over, they will post DMs, they will post screenshots. And if you scam someone in poker, you are getting outed pretty quickly to know do not accept money from this or accept any type of deals from this person. Don't swap action with them. Don't give them a loan because they're not going to pay you back. Their word is not good. And they're basically, even when you go to these poker tournaments, when some of these bigger poker players show up that have cheated online and it's been confirmed or have not paid their debts, they are definitely walking around with a scarlet letter where that they're not really a person who you can trust or count on. And that is a revolution that's happened over the past probably 2 or 3 years. I want to go to Jules because he was thumbs downing and saying, hey, that's not something that maybe is necessary. I'm not sure what the thumbs down were, because for me, if you have people out there who are doing things that are underhanded and shady, they should be excommunicated from our community because they are a blight that suck the life out of this community, and they suck liquidity in a way that is very, very negative. Jules, go for it.
I think there's an ideal world and then there's a reality world. And the reality is if you're going to live in an ecosystem where there's no KYC requirements and enjoy the volatility that comes with the 100x, you have to also understand that there's some negatives that come with that. I think the thing I was putting my thumbs down was not the direction of the conversation, but the theme of CTOs or not CTOs or teams or cabal or not cabal. Honestly, I couldn't care less. What I care about is making money. What I care about is trying to make money for my followers. And I think that we get caught up in these conversations, these debates. Is it ETH or is it Solana? Is it this or is it that? Is it Arbitrum or is it Base? Is it Base or is it Arbitrum? Bro, I remember these conversations. Is it pre-sales or is it fair launch? Is it fair launch or is it stealth launch? Is it pre-sale or is it the point I'm trying to make is that it's not an either or, it's a both and. If you can make money off of a play with a team, there are some solid, amazing developers that have been in this space that choose to remain anon because of the way y'all treat the timeline every time you lose money because you sell at a loss right before it rips. There are some amazing developers in this space that have been here multiple cycles and they get absolute shit even though they do everything right, and they have sent a few tickers really, really high. There's also bad developers in this space. There is also bad CTOs in this space. I'd be very careful for the new CTOs that are going to happen over the next several months versus the CTOs that have been here for quite a while. Just question the genuineness of a brand new CTO, brand new spanking CTO right here. Isn't that the meta? I would be careful about those in the coming weeks and months, and I'd be focused more on the CTOs that were doing it when there was no perceived reward. And I would say if anyone thinks that this whole CTO meta is going to go away, well, the only way for that to go away is to kill the Nero CTO, because the more successful that the Nero CTO becomes, the more, like, we're not talking 100 million, 200. Once that hits at 1 billion and people are like, oh yeah, it's a CTO, then 2 billion, oh, it's a CTO, then 10 billion, oh, it's a CTO. That will be a constant neon sign throughout the entire bull market. See, people will hear CTO over and over and over again. This will become not just a fleeting meta, but a daily reminder as, if this thing continues to go the direction it's going to go, which is the only way you can do it, you'd have to kill it. Essentially, what I'm trying to say is, like, CTOs are not going away. They were here before they were cool because no one knew what to fucking do after the dev rugged it. So they would just CTO it. Then that CTO community would most likely rug the next one. And then the next one maybe was the real one. I don't know. It's just so messy out here. I love the conversation. I find it stimulating, but I don't think it's CTO or cabal or team or
I
this or that.
I
You know what I
I,
mean?
I don't think so either. And let me clarify slightly, because I think that you're definitely onto something. This to me is not even just a matter of academics. It's not like a just let's just have a conversation to have a conversation. We're here to make money, and I think that you're very good at front running some of these metas, these conversations, and I see it as something similar. If you, going back to the conversation, and the point that I made was, look, if we can, as a group of people, forget about CTO, forget about any project. If I worked with Jules, let's just say, and I get that this gets messy, so I'm not even going to use Jules because I don't want there to be like a clip or whatever. If I work with someone and they do something wrong, and I say, hey, that person did something wrong, I think it's good and healthy for the industry as a whole to have the light shine on what happened, and then people at least can have an eyebrow raised. I am very much into second chances. I am very much into innocent until proven guilty, and I can understand how someone might come up with some bullshit drama just to try and engagement farm from a person. I understand all these things. So that's why I don't really do this in this way. But I think that the meme coin industry is going to be moving towards that direction. And I see CTOs as like a manifestation of that. And as light gets shined on some of these bad actors and they move out of the system, it's actually a positive for us to make money, understanding that that might be coming down the pipeline, and at least having an eyebrow raised when we have someone who's been, potentially accused of something multiple times, we can know. And again, they might not be doxxed, but even for KOLs, I know KOLs who are good who say, I don't work with those devs. Nope, not happening. It's just not going to happen because it's bad for my brand, it's bad for my followers, it's bad for my people. That is a positive, of course, in that KOLs, that is a positive notch in their belt. So for me to like kind of really drill down on my points, it's not that from some utopian world, oh, I want to support a CTO or not because it's just like my value set. Although I would root for the CTO, I want to make money as well. I think that we are eventually going to end up, and it might not be this cycle, it might be next cycle, but we are going to end up in a spot where people who are not behaving in a way that the community sees as fair, they're not going to be allowed in the community, and they're not going to find a way to make money. And then incentives will be changed such that you have to be acting in a positive way to even access the community, if that makes
You
sense. And I
can't
think that that's
you
not
can't even
academic.
enforce that. You can't enforce that.
Well, I don't think that there's like an enforcement of like the police coming in. It's really just a community. I'm telling you, I saw it happen in poker. That's really my best corollary, where no one would say a word. If you scam me for 10K, no one would say a word 2 years ago. It was actually very frowned upon. You do not get involved. And then all of a sudden, it was kind of this up and coming group of kids who were playing online with each other, who just straight up were outing each other left and right. And all of a sudden, it changed because the best players in the world stood up and said, oh, yeah, that guy, that guy's a scammer. He took me for 100K. Don't do business with him. He shouldn't be allowed at these tournaments. He shouldn't be allowed at these games. And enough people started doing that to where it was cool. And if you have the top KOLs, not us, we're not there yet. Someday, not there yet. The top KOLs, if they came out and said, hey, that's wrong. We should not be working with those developers over there because they're consistently scamming people. The tides would change faster than I think we think possible. It's not in their incentive to do that right now. I understand that. And there's no enforcement. People could still work with them. But I think that that is a wave that is the eventuality that like eventually that's where meme coins will arrive at. And I think it's going to be healthy.
I don't want to hog the mic from the hands, but I got a point that I really want to make before I lose this train of thought. And I think that the issue is people don't understand meme coins are brands, right? And I think the big issue with, like a team driven project is obviously you get a bunch of KOLs on board and they're financially motivated to say, yes, they love the brand. That doesn't necessarily mean that they do. And I think that what happens a lot is a lot of these people will jump on board because there's financial incentive to do so, and they don't actually like the brand, the meme, the narrative, etc. And their shills come off as disingenuous. It comes off as like forced. Whereas with these CTOs, they don't have like really financial motivation, and obviously unless they buy big bags, which they do. But I think people generally navigate towards them because they genuinely like the brand. They genuinely like the vibes that are being put off by that thing, and when they're promoting and pushing it, it actually comes off as genuine. So I think it's a disingenuous versus a genuine kind of shill. So if you have a project by a team where they actually do have a great brand and everyone that was onboarded do truly support and love the brand, it comes off as genuine and people respond to it in a positive manner. So I think that's probably the main reason why you're seeing this whole CTO meta is because you're actually seeing genuine people that genuinely love what they're supporting and they're endorsing. So I think that that's the main difference. So yeah, I just wanted to drive that point.
Can I touch base on that real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, so we're actually working on doing what you guys are talking about, and it started on a space with myself, Soul Saver Rooster, Goldfish, a bunch of others that I know are real, genuine, good people and that I trust. So we put together a group, and I think it has about 22 people in there so far, and it's all devs, which I'm a dev myself. I'm not the developer of crits. It's it's I'm working with somebody else on that one. I'm the front end. I'm the business on that side. But just so I am a developer myself, and I've been in the space for 13 years. What we're working on is building a group of 200 people that are either developers or have been in this space for 5 or 10 years, have seen all the good and bad actors, and we'd like to grow that to about 200 people. So, and eventually we want to open up a public Telegram group. So while we're never going to be able to truly protect everybody, and at least they'll have a place where they can come in and say, hey, it's I'm looking at investing in this project, or we open an X page and hire somebody to respond, and they can respond to us. So we don't deal with a bunch of spam and Telegram, whichever way we're going to do it. But we want to put together about 200 people that others are willing to vouch for, and it's John's one of them. I've known John for 12 years in real life, and it's I've talked to you guys on many spaces. I know you guys are out there nonstop grinding, so thank you for all that you guys do. You guys are more than welcome to join. And so if people had essentially a vetting system, it wouldn't be perfect, but what we want to do is either launch an X page where somebody can send a message to, and we have somebody nonstop responding on there, and the person that that's handling all the incoming messages can reach out to our private group and say, hey, do you know who this dev is? Do you know anything about the project? We can say yes or no. If we say no, a few of us can take a look at it and say, we don't see any red flags. It's your money, invest at your own risk. It doesn't look risky. I don't see any reason not to buy, but again, it's your money, so do what you want to. So, well, it's never going to be bulletproof. It's never going to be perfect. And again, we are decentralized. So, this is not the stock market. So you definitely hit the nail on the head on that one. But if we can create some sort of vetting system to at least create some sort of safety, I think that's the direction that we should take this industry.
Let's go over to John. John's had his hand up for a while. Then we'll go to Saga.
Yeah, I was just going to respond to Soka, and I didn't know if it's my turn to shill or my turn
Both.
to opine on what's been said or any of that stuff. But like, I do very much enjoy what's been said. I think that a lot of good shit's been said. I think that with a CTO inherently, everybody loves a CTO because they want the underdog to win. Like that's ingrained in every fucking movie and every TV show and every story that we've ever heard from the moment we were kids and reading books. It was like you want the underdog to win. Like you don't want the guy who's favored to win most of the time. And I think it's a really, really cool idea and concept idea in like an ideal world. However, a CTO is tough because you're starting behind the eight ball, right? So like you've lost the marketing normally, you've lost the marketing wallet, you've lost the team wallet, you've lost the dev wallet. It's 100% on the community. And the communities that can do it, like more fucking power to you. That's amazing. And I'm a huge supporter of several CTOs. However, when I'm investing, it's a different story. It's sort of like when I put my investor hat on, it's like when I'm investing, I want to make money. I'm not there to feel good. I'm there to make money. When I'm rooting for people, I'm rooting for the CTO guys. So I feel like it's a different mentality at that point. Is that wrong? Does anyone disagree? Like I'm interested in hearing more about this because like I feel like the CTO thing is sort of like a feel good thing.
It just
But
depends on who's doing the CTO.
No, that's valid. But I feel like it's really, really I feel like it's a lot harder for a CTO to win than it is for a project that has a marketing wallet and a team wallet and a dev wallet and all of
It
the
definitely is. It definitely is.
right. No,
Unless
like for sure.
unless the people that do the CTO have big wallets, like you said. But typically, I would say it's very difficult because people are skeptical of CTOs because if a project has failed once, they want to know who's involved in it now that's a CTO. Is it still like, are they retaining 70% of the people that failed the first time, or like is this a whole new group of people? Like what's going
I
on?
have
You know what I'm saying?
no idea how you can be in crypto and not be bullish on CTOs. And this isn't directed to anybody on the stage, but I've been seeing so much bullshit on the timeline about people shitting on CTOs, like even Crash has, and I disagree with him. Shitting on the idea of a CTO, you cannot possibly tell me that you actually are in DeFi and you like crypto and Bitcoin and come into this space and shit on the concept of CTOs, because the single point of failure on a non-CTO is a fucking greedy dev, a fucking greedy marketer that takes the marketing wallet and shits all over the community, that takes a dev wallet and rugs the community. See, y'all have been playing on Solana for so long, you don't know about the giant rugs and the bullshit that happened in 2021 on BNB and on ETH. You don't know about this. Here's what you know about. You know about little cunts. Sorry for the language, but little cunts in their mom's basement, all right, that rug for $18. That's what you know about. You don't know about social engineered rugs and scams. You don't know about you weren't even here in the bear market when the pre-sales were just $25 million. Rugged. All right. Oh, but he was a big influencer. Like, you don't know about big rugs yet. You just know about a billion micro rugs. But some of the biggest rugs in this space came through centralized teams on projects where we say, I'm all about crypto and DeFi and power to the people, but hey, let me give all the power over to these 2 or 3 people that I don't know. Look, we live in a dichotomy, okay? Because I support projects that have teams and I'm like, damn, I'm bullish on that team. I'm bullish on that dev. Right? I get it. But also, like, this is what I mean. This was what I was trying to allude to before. We go, it's either this or it's that. It's either ETH or it's Solana. It's either Bitcoin or it's this. It's either Base or it's Arbitrum. And then out of nowhere, you know what people were saying? They were saying, "Oh, BNB will come back and Ethereum and fuck Solana in the bear market." And then they were like, "You know, man, I'm kind of vibing with Solana now, guys. The transactions are so cheap and fast, and
Hey, stop talking about me.
so I just look. I have friends that feel very strongly opposite to what I'm about to say. My goal isn't to throw a grenade in and just shit all over everybody. I just don't understand how you can fucking be in this industry and shit on CTOs. Do they have a high failure rate? Do they have a team? Like, do they have this? Do they have that? No, you're absolutely right. You are right. You're right. They don't have a team. Who's going to reach out and get the market maker? You're right, but do you own Bitcoin? Do you own Bitcoin? Yeah, that's his fucking CTO. All right? It's a CTO, people. So I just don't understand how people, and this isn't directed towards anybody, this is a culmination of what I've been seeing on the timeline. And even Crash, and I respect the guy, but just like the way people shit on CTOs and go, well, the Cabal one will win, or the Cabal's like, there is room for both at the table. And I think the reason that a lot of people are a lot of money, not feel good people who want to donate to a CTO, hundreds of millions of dollars of liquidity are surrounding this Nero CTO, is because they're actually, some people with money are actually sick of that kind of concept, that it's just the right cabal with the right token equals magic. Those
No, I agree, and I may have given a point that sounded different than I was trying to make. I'm certainly not trying to say that CTOs are bad. Like,
None
I
of that
root for
was directed
CTOs
at you.
harder than I root for
I
normal
just want to be
projects.
clear. None of that was directed at you. Just want to be clear. I was using your
No,
question with other stuff I'm seeing.
no, all good. And I root for CTOs harder than I root for normal projects, right? Because I feel like we always want the good guy to win. And the CTO, in effect, is the good guy because it's people who got fucked over and decided, you know what, we're going to make something good out of this. Like, that's a feel good story. And I always want the CTO to win, but I think it would be wrong if, from an investor standpoint, we said that they are not, from the get go, not as well set up as a normal project would be. You know what I mean?
Well, they already have bad juju that they have to overcome, right? It's a CTO for a reason, so they have to overcome that adversity, that initial adversity. It's not like you're just starting off with a new exciting project. It's like you came from the gutter, right? You got to bring it up out the trench and
No,
repaint it.
dude, for sure. Is it shill time now? Like, should I give a shill, or are we moving on to someone else? Like, you guys tell me.
Well, before we move on to your show, but we will definitely make sure you get to show. We're kind of weaving in and out of the shill and the. I want to go to Saga. Saga, you had your hand up. I think you wanted to comment on this conversation. All right, back to you, John.
Oh,
There you are, Saga.
I don't know why my yeah, sorry about I thought my mic unmuted. So about the self-regulation on the community thing, um, I really love that topic. I think that's probably where crypto is going because I'm a big World of Warcraft person. I played since I was like 12, and that is actually how we did it back in the day, right? Like people gained reputations, and you could always make a new character, but there's certain ways people type. There's certain ways people talk. There's always the guy who knows the friend who will tell everybody else. Like there's just ways of
You're rugged,
knowing
brother.
if it's that same guy. And so I think it is possible for the crypto community to start to know who's the bad actors and who's good. And also like if you're like running or part of your own meme coin, uh, those people will stay away if your group is good, you know? Like they're not going to want to be in the light.
The issue is the definition between who's good and who's bad is who made me money and who lost me money. So depending on who you ask, some people are great and some people are terrible. So I think that's the main issue. The space is people aren't objective with how they observe and report these people. Because there's a lot of people in this space. Like I've literally been like, "Yo, you know that's ran by a scammer," and he's like, "Yeah, no, I know, but he's made me a lot of money before." Like, are you fucking kidding me? Uh, like what the fuck? I would never actively promote something that I knew was ran by someone that was legitimately trying to take value from the space, and that was a total piece of shit, even if I knew I was going to make some money from it.
See, and then you can kind of put those people in the category like, okay, those are guys just here for money. So those guys are kind of like
Well, let's not get it twisted, because I
those.
think that everyone is here for money. So for me personally, I see an opportunity to make more money via having a good reputation. I'm not short sighted. I think a lot of these people are. I wouldn't scam someone for 10 grand, because I know that in the future, and that's the end of the bull run. That's where all the liquidity comes in. That's where all the money is made. The last bull run we all did decent, throughout the bull run, but that last third, that's when you could throw like $100 into a piece of shit and watch it go to like 20 grand. You're like, how the fuck did this dumb fucking coin? I mean, they were launching shit like Cum Rocket and like Dick Butt, NFTs that were like thousands of dollars. Pictures of monkeys were hitting millions of dollars. It's like, that is why I'm also, I like to believe, a very moral person. So I even if I thought I could make more money scamming, I wouldn't. But I truly believe you can make more money in this space by having a great reputation than by being a short-sighted scammer. Because we saw it happen with
And
Paulie. Paulie was fucking making so much money and he was killing it, and then all of a sudden he got really scammy and weird, and started just dropping N bombs, I think, to get deplatformed so he could just go fuck off in the Bahamas or whatever the hell he's doing, rolling around with other pigs. Who knows? But like, people with great reputations, they can tarnish those things quick. And you saw his calls. His calls used to send things to millions. At the end of it, he was sending something from 25K to 29K.
Well,
So
and
it's kind of
Shill, real quick, I think you make a good point, and I think that you know
Yeah, totally. I agree with
one
you.
of the reasons why I kind of tied this to politics a little bit is because the idea of politics, right, is if you vote Soka into office and I go and do a bad job, my accountability is you don't vote me in again. Hey, Soka, you didn't do a good job. We wanted you to build this bridge. You didn't build this bridge. You're out. We're going to try someone else. But nowadays, with how the world works and how much misinformation there is out there, the accountability doesn't. I mean, you will have a politician, at least in the US, say, hey, Shill, I built you a bridge. And you'll be like, what? Dude, there's literally no bridge here. And I'm like, no, 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 we built it. And you're like, dude, I'm looking right now. If I drive my car across here, I'm gonna fly into the water, the river, whatever. There's no bridge. And then I will go out and platform and say, Soka built the bridge. It's the greatest bridge ever. And I'll post a picture of a bridge on the front page. And that is the problem with politics for real, is that there's not really accountability. And so you said it before, you said accountability. And I actually agree with the idea and the premise of accountability. And, when you're talking self-regulation or regulation, Saga said, hey, look, in World of Warcraft, that's kind of what used to happen. And if there were accountability, then all of a sudden the incentives get aligned again. Because what Shill is saying is, if it was in people's best interest, if they would make more money by being honest people, then they would do it. And so some mechanism I think is going to come. I don't know what it is yet, and I know we're talking a little bit.
Let's make van rides great
It's
again. Let's make van rides great again.
it's a little bit like, it's a little bit utopian. I understand that, but I see the writing on the wall, and I think that it's going to be really cool when it happens, because we're going to make people be more accountable, because we're going to find a way to do it. I think. Go ahead, Jules. I know we've spent a lot on this topic, but I think I
no,
think
no,
it's an
it's
important one.
it's
I
a
think it's
good
going to help us make
cultural
money.
it's a cultural conversation. And it's one of the time right now. This Nero CTO thing's not going away. Binance doesn't back down, especially when they go after something with as much risk as they took on, listing it at 10 or 12, or I've heard people say 13 or 15 million. That cannot fail now. You do realize that, right? You should be max bidding it, even if you hate it and you want it to fail and you got into the cabal one like me, you should be max bidding it. You know why? It cannot fail. Not that it's got Kevlar and it can never be shot up and hurt. I'm saying Binance cannot let that fail. And anybody who's not bidding it right now is just purely in disbelief and like, it'll come back down to 80 mil. Maybe I'll get it. Maybe not. A lot of people thought that after Doge ripped up from 400 mil to 800 mil. They sold, and then it ripped to 88 billion. So understand the significance of the moment we're living in. This is a cultural shift. And the more, so what happened with Doge and Shib, and they birthed even more dogs, right? Then finally, several cycles later, it was like, okay, fuck, a frog, finally, right? The more this thing wins as a CTO, and with Binance on board now, like, it literally cannot fail. Not, I don't mean that like, oh my gosh, guys, guaranteed money, it can't fail. I mean, they cannot let it fail. That kind of pressure situation that they've put themselves into. The more that wins, the more it glorifies the concept of a CTO. And what we're talking about, as we've seen and experienced CTOs right now, when something like that gets glorified, the way we see and experience CTOs right now might not be how we see or experience them in the future.
No, it's funny. I think it kind of highlights how much this coin continues to get faded, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, Jules. The number one performing meme coin this entire summer is a CTO, and it's GigaChat. So the fact of the matter is, CTOs have been around this entire time. Obviously, you know, something like a Binance listing, I think it's just more pertinent to like the space. Like people are like, oh shit, Binance, Binance. It's always when Binance, so it's like, oh shit. But CTOs have been around and they've been very successful. And I think it does, you know, continue to move to like brand, right? If it's a recognizable brand or a solid brand, it makes it easier for that CTO to be successful and to show it and to push it because they don't have to put a ton of finances in order to get brand recognizability. So if you're looking for CTOs, that's what I would look for. I'd look for how easy is it for us to bring brandability to this project, to get people to accept it in the masses and not make it super niche. So I think the issue a lot of people have is they're pushing things that are maybe too niche, that aren't going to be broadly accepted. So you know, it's going to be a very difficult sell unless you have a bunch of capital behind it. The one thing I did also wanted to note about, like, you know, not to get back into the accountability thing, but I wanted to kind of talk about like dilution, in particular individual dilution, and the concept of that. And that's why I think you see someone like Crassus be so successful, is he doesn't dilute his personal brand, and that's why he's like the most valuable. You can, I don't think you could, at least I've never offered him money, but I'd be willing to give that guy $1 million for a single tweet. That's how powerful his platform is right now. I would rather have him shill my ticker than someone like Messi or Ronaldo. He has more value in this space than the biggest names in the world. I think the only people that are probably going to bring more volume than him are Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Literally those two. And I think that's pretty powerful, and it's an interesting thing to note because it shows if some of these top tier influencers were a little bit more selective, how much value they could bring to their platform by not posting as much, by being selective with what they really are pushing. And you know, I do think it's kind of an interesting concept with that whole dilution thing because, you know, me personally, I probably dilute my brand, but I like to have fun with friends and push funny tickers and, you know, not necessarily throw shit at the wall and see what sticks, but kind of like I like if someone sends me a funny ticker and they want me to help push and make memes and do the thing, you know, I'll help them out if they're a friend because I also believe in networking and, you know, scratching people's back, and then maybe they'll scratch yours down the road. But someone like that with that kind of platform, I do think it just boils down to that dilution thing because everyone's always going to be waiting on his next call because he's been so successful. Whereas a lot of these other people, it's hit or miss, so they don't bring volume because they're like, well, I don't know, it's 50-50. It could be this coin that they sent to 500 million, or it could be this coin that went to zero in Burj Khalifa.
Funny. It's funny you're bringing that up because he had a whole space on how people focus too much on P&L versus being correct. And his whole thesis behind it was if you're correct in what you call, the money will follow. And that's kind of what you're talking about.
100%.
So
Yeah.
I thought that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. It's like if you're right 99% of the time, people are going to hedge their bets and they're going to bet on you. If you're right 50% of the time, people are going to be reluctant to throw their money into that pot. Like, I mean, even if you went to a casino and they were offering you a 99% chance to win, you'd go all in. If it was 50-50, you might not even put your chips on the table.
And I just want to add one more thing before we go back to John. You can. You said you would like to think you make more money in this space running an honest brand. The truth is, in the current state the space is, that's not true. You can make more money being a scammer. And that is why you'll see people come into this space and they'll give you the worldview. It's fuck or get fucked. I fuck people up on charts or you get fucked, right? What people really need to define is we're all here to make money, but turns out there's a fork in the road. And when we say, I'm here to make money, you here to make money? I am. The rugger on the other side of that conversation understands very much what you mean when you say, I'm here to make money, are you? And the rugger says, yes. But your yes means differently. And here's the fork in the road. The fork in the road is, are you here to make money? Or are you here to make money at all costs? Meaning costing you your friendships, your reputation, your fucking soul. And there are some people who will go to various stages of that. There were people in the bear market with several 100,000 followers that completely scammed their entire following for 20, 30 ETH and then deleted the account. So it's we're all here to make money. The truth of the matter is, if you're here to make money at all costs, you will make more money. You just have to live with the results that come with that. For me, it's not an all costs kind of thing. I will be more savage when the market gets more greedy and you can throw money at the wall, and I will not give a shit about selling something, moving on, getting into this one, degening, all that kind of stuff, doing some of those calls when the market supports it. Later on my timeline in euphoria, right now I'm being more conservative. I won't give a shit about that because I know the rules, like laws of gravity, won't be applying later on. But that time is not now. And now is the time to really lock in on some conviction plays and just ride those profits up. But yeah, the sad truth is I thought the same thing for the longest time. You know, you these people are penny wise and pound foolish, and they don't make money over the long term. And the truth of the matter is, the people who scam in this industry, they do actually make more money than the regular 9 to 5 guy or the dude that just went full-time crypto. They do. But their ethos is, I make money at all costs. And that's not my ethos. And that's the fork in the road that people have to make a decision at. And until you've gained a decent following in this space, and Shield Turner, you haven't met those conversations yet. You can say you wouldn't, but until you're in the chat rooms and you see shit going down and you're like, I'm not comfortable with this, until you come in contact and build relationships with people over a period of time, and then you get close and you're like, that ain't my vibe. Are you willing to walk away from it? Or are you not? This isn't about a moral standing. This is about your degree of what you're willing to do to make money. There's people who will eat poop to make $1 million. Not sure how healthy that is for you. But would you kill someone for 10 million? Sure, I'll kill someone for 10 million. Like, that's their. So to me, it's a degree in this space of, if you come into this space and you're willing to make money at all costs, then you will make more money. You also might get thrown in prison. You also might get thrown in the back of someone's van, because that happened to a dev once. You also might get your account deleted. You also see, you know what I mean? Like, you got to figure out that pain tolerance.
Real quick before we move on, Jules, that was really well said. I think that Jules has this innate ability to kind of listen in and then succinctly kind of wrap stuff up. So well said, Jules. I just wanted to throw that out there for sure. And one other quick comment that I had as you were speaking, when we're talking about self-regulation, there's another thing. I know for at least myself, I've had these conversations with Jules. This is why we vibe really well. I get it. Until you're really presented with this exact issue, it's going to be theoretical. But there is not enough money that you could throw in front of me to screw over Jules, right? Or any one of you guys. If someone said, hey, here's $1 million to take $10,000 from each person in the space. You just click this button and it'll be yours. I want to do it. And I get it. Until there's the button in front of you, you won't know for sure. So that's the best that I can say is I don't think that I do it. Now,
Trust me, Soka, I've talked to friends, man. No one that I currently vibe with, no one would know them. But trust me, until you come across that conversation, everybody
sure.
has a number in this space. I trust you. This is just content for the, for the audience, but because they hate on influencers and they shit on them and they shit on people, but they've never had those questions asked of them and those opportunities afforded them, so they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. But I know, we know.
For sure. And I'd flip this a little bit. I'm going to take a little bit of a unique thing, and we don't even need to go. I just think this is a great conversation, and the numbers are going up. So why not? We are also incentivized, right, as content creators of what we're trying to achieve. And again, I don't think that Soka is doing anything different than anyone else is capable of doing. But I know that I can only speak for myself. I'm grinding. I'm out there trying to make stuff happen, trying to work with projects. And there's been a lot of projects that have, reached out in some capacity, and for the most part, have passed on many of them. I know I've spoken with Jules about some of this too, because you want to work with projects that you feel confident and comfortable in. But like, if you're a project out there, and this is not a shill, it's not like a hard shill for Soka or Jules or the show, but like, if we're talking about self-regulation and you're trying to reward people who are trying to behave in the correct way, at a minimum, I know that I'm trying to do my best to keep my integrity and my morals. And are projects then willing to say, you know what? Even though Soka has a smaller platform than this other KOL who might be able to move our chart more, we want to reward that integrity and those morals with the same type of deal. I would not expect you to, because that's not how this works. And there's another component to that where you want to reward the people who are behaving in the right way, the projects that are behaving in the right way, but also the people who are trying to make a living as a content creator in the right way. And I don't expect any project to be like, you know what? I want to sponsor this space and I want to work with you. And here, I was going to give this money to so and so, but they would have moved their chart, but also they're a little bit scammy. We know they've done some bad things, but here's the money for you, Soka. And even though you don't have the right pool, it'll work out eventually, right? I don't expect you guys to do that. I don't expect anyone to do that. I know that, you wouldn't expect that to happen either. But there's this feedback loop of incentives that are really difficult. And that's why when Jules said, it kind of hit me. You make more money if you're scanned. Now you do give up. You might be thrown in the van, sure. But like, until projects are coming up to me and saying, Soka, you know what? We think you're a great guy. And we know you're not going to move the chart as much as influencer X, but you have better morals than influencer X. And we put that into the calculation. And here's your lots. Until that happens, again, this circle is a bit weird, and we're all kind of just self-policing and trying to make the best of it. Sorry, Shill, I know you were trying to respond, but that what Jules said hit me, and I was like, wait a minute, there's like another component to this of the feedback loop. Go ahead.
I don't know if I was trying to respond, but
oh, sorry. I
yeah,
thought I saw your mic open up, and
it might have been accidental.
That's
but,
the oldest trick in the book. You want to get the
yeah. Hey, what are
going
you?
and go,
What are
hey,
you
I
guys?
saw you had your hand up. Go for it. They're like,
I lost my point.
now.
Yeah. Hey, let me throw you under the bus. No, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was watching all these fucking birds fly over. I'm like, what the hell's going on? But yeah, no, I 100% agree with you guys.
What? You weren't even paying attention? What do you mean you agree with us? You were watching
No.
some birds.
I agreed with the points that were made before. I've only been watching these birds for maybe 30, 45 seconds. It was very wild. They were like, what the hell?
Okay.
But no, yeah, I think you guys have, I think everyone pretty much on this stage has hit the nail on the head. It's just, I don't know, it is a tough space to navigate because we've all had, I think a lot of people on this stage have had people approach them, and the point I wanted to really drive home, and I want people to start thinking about, is the concept of only accepting jobs or getting in projects that you actually enjoy and want to be a part of. Because I think if you do that, you're going to enjoy this space a whole lot more. You're going to enjoy, creating content and becoming a valuable member in this space a whole lot more. There's been people that approach me and say, hey, can you help us push this? Can you make memes for this? And I'm like, to be honest with you, I can't. They're like, well, why not? I'm like, because I don't like the meme. I don't like the brand. That's not to say that it's a bad meme or a bad brand. I just can't bring value to it because I'm not passionate about it. It's not something that I'm going to be able to create good content around because I don't fully understand it. You know, I could have accepted the frickin' 1% or whatever the hell they're asking, but for me, it's just disingenuous. If I don't think I can bring value to something, then I'm not going to do it. And I just wish that more people would operate in that capacity, because then I think you would have a lot cleaner timeline. You'd have things that make sense. It's like, oh yeah, this guy that was pushing this narrative, it makes sense because that's kind of a part of his brand. That's kind of a part of his aesthetic. But then the next week you see him pushing something completely opposite that makes no sense to their platform, and it's weird. It's like, dude, like, stay consistent here. I think that if more people approach the space like that, where they realize that they do have an individual brand to uphold, then it would just be a lot cleaner, and it would ultimately be a lot better. So yeah, I mean, you can make money in any meme coin, but I personally would like to make money doing things that I like, pushing things that I like, things that I think are funny, things that I think have potential based on my own experiences. And I'm not right all the time. I mean, maybe I'm not even right 50% of the time. I don't know. I haven't looked into the numbers, but I will say, like, it's a lot better to lose money or time on something that you enjoyed pushing, versus if it feels like you're pulling teeth and you're like, God, I'm fucking trapped in this trade. I got to go shill this piece of shit coin again. That's tough. But if it's something that you genuinely are having fun with friends and stuff, you could ride that bitch to the bottom and still be like, you know what, guys, that was a really fun time. Let's try to find a different project or a different brand that we all love and enjoy and think we could push. And you could at least create some sort of connection with people through that community, because you all genuinely had a good time pushing that ticker, pushing that coin. If you're pushing something that you just all thought you could make money in, and it's disingenuous, you're not going to get anything from that effort, from that time. You're not going to get any contacts from it. You're ultimately it's just going to be a complete waste. So yeah, I think that people just need to be more honest about like what it is that they enjoy pushing, and only push those types of things. I mean, you could buy some of this other shit silently and trade it, but I don't think you should be posting or engaging with something that you don't actually want to be a part of. I think it takes away from both the project and you as an individual.
Yeah, I can't stand anything more than a community member that doesn't work for their bags. I mean, if you're going to be part of a community, you should be bullish enough to go out there and shield the ticker, at least repost memes and put in work, because like you're working for your community and for your
Well,
investment, right, and assets.
at the
So
bare minimum,
you should want to
you
do
shouldn't
that.
be coming in the Telegram asking why the price is down when no one's even seen you before. That's just wild to me. It's like, price is down because dipshits like you bought up a bunch of supply, which took incentive away from people that actually would be pushing this. So rather than them having a large portion of the supply and having financial incentive to push the ticker, it's instead locked up in your gay little hands, and you're just sitting there like, when's the community gonna make my bags go up? When can I dump on these people? It's like, you fucking weirdo. Like, get the fuck out of here. Dump your supply. Get people that actually want to push this thing, to hold that supply. That way they're rewarded for their efforts. So, yeah, there's nothing more annoying to me than it's like, I own 6% of this. I'm gonna threaten the group about dumping because I don't like the way you guys are operating this. It's like, who the fuck are you, buddy? Little Doctor Evil motherfucker, like the wizard behind the curtain. It's like, go fuck yourself,
The space got very gay over the last 6 months. Very gay.
Some might say the gayest.
I just tell people like that to sell me their tokens.
Yeah, no, seriously, the space got. We'll go over to Saga, but the space got really gay when I when I have
People started drinking that water, Jules. That water turned them that
when I
way.
have people come.
It's been 2 days. It hasn't been 6 months. It's been 2 days and the space got gay.
No, it's been 6 months, because the culmination of it, when you have people coming up on stage saying, yeah, I terrorize charts. I love to trade the shit out of them, but I don't talk about the tickers. But I've made a lot of money, and I throw those in my conviction plays. You and every motherfucker in this space has been operating that way. This space got really gay over the last particularly several months, because Ishan down in the crowd, or was here a little while ago from the Kindu community, that mofo is in every fucking space. He wants to see his conviction play win. Bull Shark, I was thinking about glazing him on his space earlier, but I was like, no. Bull Shark, I watch, right? In communities where people lock the fuck in, they're also gonna get degen shills, right? I've seen some degen shills roll through the crash community. I'm not dumb. I pay attention. But what's Bull Shark doing? Locked in. He's locked in on crash every single day. His Brett, his and he comes into the Ponky spaces. I think he's got some Ponky. He's locked in on his plays. He's not chasing strays. Those are the people who actually, like, if you have an insane amount of liquidity, you can terrorize charts. But are you really proud of terrorizing a chart with 80 grand liquidity in it? Is that really? Because I don't think you actually have very much money. The people who dunk the hardest at the end of the cycle are the people who turned a few $1,000 into 10 or 20 million dollars because they focused on one thing. So I don't know. The space got so gay when people started bragging that they were the ones that shit on the chart. You go look at the chart, and it's like there was 100 grand in liquidity. Wow, you're so rich and successful. Like, but there's some people in this space that are grinding their nuts off for their communities. They're gonna make millions, just like they did in last cycle, because they were locked the fuck in. And if everybody shows up to a meme coin with selfish interests, that meme coin will go to zero. At some point, there needs to be a sense of selflessness within the community in order to see that shit moon. It's the dichotomy of making money in this decentralized world. If everyone comes to take money from the liquidity pool, it dies. Somebody at some point and a group of people have to actually be like, yeah, I'm going to delay gratification now so I can dunk post on you later when I buy my limousine or my yacht, and you got rugged for your 500 grand that you spent your soul getting through the, you know what I mean? So I don't know. Space got real gay there for a minute, but I love to see this Nero CTO stuff. I love to see the fresh wind that it's breathing into DeFi. Even if all these look, people go, well, CTOs won't be real successful. No shit, Sherlock. 99.8% of the ones coming off Pump Fun aren't successful, and somebody hit the button. Like, team or no team, this is the wild, wild west. It's just good to see the macro meme economy go, fuck yeah, okay, shit. How about them CTOs, huh? It's good. It's healing for the ecosystem to experience that.
Good.
Good.
It's just healing. It's healing for DeFi, man.
Good.
Well, what's funny is it's like we talk about like failures and this, that, and the other. It's like these ultimately are businesses, right, or brands or whatever you want to call them. And the former president and future president, I believe, of the United States, he's had unsuccessful brands and businesses in his life, even that the success he's had. So this whole concept of just because someone had one or two failures, or that overall like the CTO meta, they've had failures. Everything's had failures, but I think that you got to look at like the broader landscape. Like you said, the macro meme economy is doing great, so that means that meme coins are successful. Of course, the majority of them are not. However, if the overall meme coin economy is moving in the trending in the right direction, I don't think you can say that that space is an unsuccessful one. It's been very successful. So yeah, it's kind of it's a weird point because I think a lot of people like to treat crypto like it's not like real business or like the stock market. It's just expedited, obviously, right? Like these trends, they everything plays out a lot faster. And I think it's just up to you as an individual to look into things like, okay, this project's very similar to this project. That project hit X market cap, so this is what the realistic value and lifespan of this project is. This is how I'm going to trade it or play it or promote it or push it, whatever it is, and be open and honest with yourself as well as others on what you see happening with that project. And if you do that, I think you can be pretty successful in this space. But I think a lot of people, as soon as they get involved with something or they put their money into something, they start to play tricks with their own mind and think of it as something that it's not, and that's where ultimately I think we all lose money. is when we try to pretend like something is something that it isn't. You know, not every single meme coin that gets launched is going to pull a Nero or pull a Pepe. The majority will not, and I think we all know that. But for whatever reason, as soon as we have a bag of it, we're like, yeah, this is next Pepe, 100%, without a doubt in my mind.
I do want to go on the record saying I think that people should consider exposure to the Nero CTO. I don't think they're observing whatever one you were in, and I'm in the Cabal one, right? Not because I'm in, I spot bought, right? I spot bought the Cabal one, right? So I'm not gonna come out here on the timeline and shit on the Nero CTO one because now I'm in that one too. I win either way, baby. But what I want to say is you need to pay attention and don't be so fucking short-sighted. This is what happened to Shib, bro. So many people were like, fuck Shib, piece of trash, I'm out. And they sold tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars of potential gains because they couldn't zoom out and see what was happening. The meme coin economy was expanding. That's what happened in SHIB. The meme coin economy was expanding. And we're like, fuck CTOs. They're all going to fail. The meme coin economy is expanding. And as it turns out, the very powerful entities at the top that literally are the gatekeeper of a lot of liquidity to come into your meme coin, they're like, we have to start focusing on decentralization. So whether you like it or not, think it through before you make a financial decision. Don't just have a knee-jerk reaction like, yeah, fuck the CTOs. Yeah, no, all my friends are in the cabal. Yeah. It's like, yeah, like I I have friends that are in influential groups. I've seen some of them super pissed on the timeline. Fuck it. Fuck the CTOs, little gay shit. And I'm like, like I get it. I understand. Homeboy, I'm holding the token, but now I'm going to buy this because I think I see the meme coin economy expanding and there's room for both. There's room for,
Well, Ju-
yeah, go for it.
the crypto in general is maturing, right? You see Donald Trump doing all these things publicly, doing its first transaction in a bar. My mom and her husband, they didn't like crypto. As soon as they found out Trump was into it, now they love it, right? And so this is huge. And I think because it's maturing, meme coins are also now going to be looked at. And the reason decentralization is such a big deal and how CTOs fit into that is because of this decentralization. It makes it a safer investment for bigger, like institutional investors and people like Binance, exchanges like Binance. So it's kind of crazy because we're on like the cusp of a change, like a revolution of where like meme coins are now becoming real brands, like companies. And they could in the future, like who knows, there could be like the whole boys club thing where they're like on sodas and festivals and like the three frogs, Pepe, Hoppy, and Fefe on like the same thing, whatever it is. So it's like, I don't know, it's an amazing time to be alive, guys. I love you guys.
Yeah, it is an amazing time to be in crypto. Look, the one last thing I'll say on this topic, and it's not rehashing the same things. Why is every successful dev in this space that's not a complete rat bastard, that's developed some of the best projects in the space, whether it was last cycle or this cycle, why don't they have a photo of their face on their PFP? You really need to think things through. Why don't they have their photo out there? Well, somebody could kidnap them, take the keys.
I don't want to make you guys jealous, man.
They could be a target. Oh, wait. So decentralization is bullish, right? It is or it isn't. And there's a lot of like layers to this. I get it, but I find it funny right now on my timeline. I'm seeing people who I know are anon. I'm seeing some people that I know who are connected to dev teams or devs themselves that are anon. And just like seeing the way people are reacting to this, it's like, wait, but you benefit through a decentralized economy. And like if you have just a single dev or two devs that can't even show their faces because they're so successful. Like, we don't know who the devs are of some of these assets, and yet they're trading in hundreds of millions, some of them close to billions of dollars of market cap, even tens of billions, right? Like by the end of this run. Like, yeah, bro, but decentralization. You fucking hypocrite. You fucking hypocrite. Decentralization, when you benefit, when your brand is on the line, which we don't know your face. Decentralization. What I'm saying is, it's kind of like what Saga said. Meme coins are going to mature. The space is going to mature over time. This stuff that's happening has got me so bricked up and bullish because all the stuff I've seen since coming to this platform 5 months ago, like I was in the Telegram trenches for years before that. But coming to this platform, I'm going to be honest, a lot of you are very gay. You act very, very gay on this platform. Like, just the complete debauchery and not giving a shit and all of that stuff. And it's like, decentralization is cool, is it not? No, but it's Pepe. No, it's this. No, fuck that. It's Bobo. No, fuck Bobo. It's Pepe. It's like, you retards. There's room for both. There's room for CTOs and highly controlled supply plays and fair launches and stealth launches and pre-sales and Ponzi-nomics and utility. There's room for all of it, man. Anyway.
The you know, boys club being on the soda cans and stuff like that, it brings up a very interesting point. I think it's one we talked about. There's a lot of power behind something like that, because someone like me, if I owned a coin and my character was on that, I would go buy a shit ton of them. And not only would I buy them because of that, I would tell people to buy them. No one's, at least I don't know. I mean, there's obviously some weird Disney maxis and stuff like that, but I don't think that they would go, hey, you need to go buy some Coca-Cola because Mickey Mouse is on the can. But if Ponky was on the can, I could 100% see thousands and thousands of people buying up that fucking shit, telling people to buy it, being super bullish, excited about it, promoting it all over their timelines, and using that word of mouth marketing. So I think that these big brands are going to see the power behind that. You know, if you put like a SHIB, you know, logo on you know, a real brand, shit, those people go crazy, and you would have thousands and thousands and thousands of people posting all over their timeline. And I think these corporations are going to wake up to the power of that. They're going to start promoting and pushing that. And we talked about it too with regards to utility plays. I think that the utilities should 100% launch in the idea of partnering with meme coins and using the existing communities to get their shit off the ground, because that's the best way they're going to be able to do it. It's going to be the most affordable way to do it, and it's going to be the most efficient way to do it. So that's kind of where I'm looking at with meme coins is again that brand recognizability, the community, and all these things, and that being the power of it, and having, you know, maybe these more utility plays and these already existing brands approaching them as a tool to onboard new users, new consumers, and also ultimately marketing. You know, one of the most prevalent marketers in the world right now, they don't pay for marketing. That's Tesla. So if I was a corporation, I would 100,000% be looking at meme coins right now and saying, how can we get involved? How can we get these communities to start shilling our product? Easiest way to do it is slap our logo right on that fucking can.
Bro, imagine fucking Brett on Pepsi, Pepe on Mountain Dew, you know, and so on and so forth. Fucking Ponky on Dr. Pepper.
Hey, I do want to go to, is it Galaxian? They've had their hand up for a little bit. Want to go to them, and then we'll go to Dr. Fluffington and then Fat Boy. Galaxian, you're up, man.
Yeah, hey everyone. Yeah, I've been listening to you guys. A wonderful space, by the way, very interesting. And I wanted to come back to the description of poker that you've been saying. Someone from you been saying like that in poker world, the things happen that it was like it changed. But you know what? Like what I've discovered, like I'm the founder of my NFT project. I'm the artist, and I'm the honest person, and never scammed anyone. And so that's why I think my project is developing pretty slow, because I'm not scamming anyone. And people know that if you're not to scam anyone, you're not making a ton of money. And that's why these scammers are actually exist on demand, on purpose, because there's a lot of people want to just have a quick buck to earn quickly. Nobody really want to invest anything, and they just want to flip, and it and that's why we see a lot of like scam NFT collection scam, like meme tokens and shit, and that's why it happens. So people just want this to be, and that's why there's so many people like that. And but in poker it's a little bit different. Like in poker there's nothing new, it's just the games between the competition between players. And here people are like eager to find the next shit, the next impression, the next sax, if I could tell like that. It's like the next dopamine like stimulation or some kind of that. So that's why these scammers exist, and I think that people want them to exist, and they trust scammers. As you mentioned, Poly's like it is making money, like draining the people's money in the end, right? And he gets to be famous and successful, and people respect him for the projects, like so-called the projects being successful. And let's say if some scammer who scammed previously will decide to make a new project, there will be a crowd of people running for that and waiting for the launch, like knowing that this is a scammer. So I think that, yeah, like that.
Appreciate you coming up, man. Want to go over to Dr. Fluffington, and then we'll go to Fat Boy.
Thanks, guys. I went ahead and got my my robe on, got me a glass of bourbon here, since we're having this intelligent conversation. But I wanted to talk about, the decentralization of the meme coins and how that's going to continue. I don't think it's going to slow down, especially with this run that's coming up. You're going to see more and more being deployed. There's going to be all kinds of flavors coming out. And that's not going to stop. It's just going to heat up even more. You just look at Pump Funds volume, you look at the Ape Store's volume, it's going to go crazy, right? And we're going to get so diluted with new meme coins that it's going to be hard to put out your stuff unless you have a really solid brand, you know? And I think that the big boys, like the Cokes and the Pepsis, are going to come in and they're going to see all this money being made and they're going to want to buy into that. And they're going to launch their own stuff. You've already seen it with all the celebrities and everything. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. So we haven't reached the pinnacle yet. We're waiting for it. Bitcoin hasn't even really busted up over 70K. So this cycle is nowhere near being over. And we're seeing the expansion of the universe for meme coins, like Jules was saying. But what I'm doing to fund my mischief and mayhem and torture is that I'm investing in things that are creating the meme coins, right? You want to be on the launch pads and getting a piece of that's creating the new wave that's going to be coming with this impending volume that's going to rush back into the space. And if you want to make real money, I think that you need to look to that technology.
Man, Dr. Fluffington, I can tell you were in character the whole time, but you really wanted to engage, and you were like, fuck, I'm on the Dr. Fluffington account, so I've got to go up there. I've got to stay in character, but I really want to contribute to the conversation. So that makes me bullish on this conversation. That makes me really bullish. Shout out to Dr. Fluffington. Let's go over to Fat Boy, and then we'll go to Mr. Turtles, and then we'll go to Wide Lady.
Yo, what's up, Jules? How you doing, man?
Good, brother. How are you?
Good. Yeah, I'm not bad, man. Just back from the gym. So, yeah, I got halfway into the conversation talking about CTOs and cabal stuff and, which plays. And I agree with you. I think there's room for everything. Clearly there is, because there's room for pump fun, and that's like an absolute cancer for Solana as far as I'm concerned. But hey, it works for some people, but I think here's the thing, right? I believe that CTOs, communities are very, very important. But if you think a CTO is going to hundreds of millions without any of these guys, whales, cabal guys, getting involved, then it's pretty naive. Like those guys are involved, even if you don't think they're involved, because they're the ones got the money. How do you think these things pump? You know, I'm not saying communities can't push a token, but they can only push it so far because the funds are only there so far. And we still have CTOs once they get to a certain level, they'll still call on the influencers, they start bringing in the cabal people. And generally, any successful CTO is generally run by guys that actually know what they're doing and they've got connections to the cabals and all that type of thing as well. So I don't necessarily see them as completely separate. I think it's just maybe a different way of going. I do root for the underdog because it's, I do think decentralization, maybe having the holder count spread out more and, all that, that's all good for that type of thing. But, money goes to money. And so when rich guys have got the money, it's easy for them to call the shots. So, I just think that CTOs are they're backed by the same people. I mean, those guys want to make money as well. So if they sniff a play, whether it's a CTO, and they think they can make money, they're going to be in there like a rat a drain pipe.
I just want to comment on that, Fat Boy. Bro, there's so much nuance to this conversation that I agree with you. I really fudded CTOs in the beginning. The whole thing that I hear some of these guys, even some of the language that I'll see like Crash use, it's essentially a failed project, blah, blah, blah. There's no money, there's no wallet, marketing, like how are they going to get the listings? But it's like a herd of cats, whatever, right? I get all that. But because I focus on kind of the macro part of what just happened in the meme coin economy, now if you have lots of money, you are now financially incentivized to participate in CTOs because they could get listed on Binance. Whereas that was not, we were not sure if that could happen. We weren't. We didn't know if that was a viable path. And now, even if it's cabals who help CTOs, those cabals are now, here's the dangerous part. The dangerous part will be when the cabals start doing their own CTOs, right? That's why I say people should start looking at all the CTOs that were here pre what happened and look at some communities that were grinding in the trenches and consider that, because now if that's the path, opportunists will try and find a way to fuck that up for us too. This is why we can't have nice shit. But I would say
I think that's happening. I think if you look at Pump Fun, everything's a CTO now.
Well,
like
yeah,
they rug instantly and then they CTO it. The team is CTOing it. So at a low level, the devs are CTO in their own projects because that is the meta. So I could easily see cabals are probably doing it already.
But Fat Boy, like Crying, awesome CTO. Still here a month, 7 weeks later, and we had the highest engagement rate on our rating session the other day. Like, bro, these people want it, right? Dev DMs the Crying account after it gets CTO'd and said sad dev because he rugged the community and fucked off, and a community of people came together on like a Saturday morning and said fuck it, let's send it, right? So there will be those organic movements, there will be those fake movements, just like there is with pre-sales that suck and pre-sales that are great. Pre-sale, you know what I mean? Like
I think that probably boils down to timing, though, right? Because Crying had been dead for quite some time, whereas a lot of the CTOs we're seeing, it's CTO 10 minutes after the dev sold, and it's like, okay, well, how the hell did you guys organize that quick? This seems a little disingenuous.
Bro, there's still people who ask me if Crying is a legit CTO, but they don't go on chain. They don't look at the order book and realize it was dead. It was dead for weeks and weeks. So the distribution on that is so sweet. Anyway, I'm not trying to soft show that. I'm just saying they're going to be legit CTOs, and then there are going to be, magically 10 minutes later, let's CTO it. And yet the market will continue to mature. But something that people are not thinking a lot about or talking a lot about in the CTO conversation thing is the legalities. I referenced it before, right? Why do the devs not show their faces? Depending on the country that you're in, you could be legally responsible for the deployment of a security. That issue is gone when it's a CTO. You're a whale, you got connections, you want to scoop up a bunch of supply at 10K. Because think of how flawed hype launches are right now. Think of how flawed our the way we launch projects are now. Okay, get everybody in. Okay, open up a space. Okay, blah, blah, blah. What's cool about CTOs, especially if they're organic, everybody goes in at the same time. Everybody that wants to, everybody goes in at the same time. Everybody's in the same boat. People bought what they could afford to buy. You push the shit out of it, but there's no legal issues as far how are we gonna get a hold of the dev? We don't know. He rugged it and he's moved on. You know what I mean? So I think that as you play it out, people will find out whales who want to put a lot of money into a listing but don't want insiders and snipers to shit on them and use the listing exchange listings just to go dump all their tokens, because that's something that's notorious. All the exchange listings happen, then all the whales and the KOLs go over there to dump, right? The bad KOLs, I should say, not all the KOLs, but the bad KOLs, they go over there to dump, because there are some good ones in this space. All right, they're not all dirty bastards. There are some that work really hard to keep their name and their reputation in line. But then exchange listing, bam. So what was the point in spending hundreds of thousands? And even Binance alluded to this. You know, they do the listings and then it's just a Ponzi scheme and people dump on it. They want to avoid that. What was the point in that if like the dev rugs it or the dev has the keys or like all this bullshit or the dev goes to prison or whatever it may be? That's where I think people are greatly underestimating the power of these CTOs is like the legal issues. A lot of that goes away when the dev who launched it rugs it and then he's gone. And then people in crypto come in and take over. Anyway, Soka, you still alive over there? I know we're going to wrap up soon, but we'll go to a couple more.
Hey, I'm always alive, man. These are the kind of conversations that I like. You know, honestly, I think that they are stimulating. I like hearing a lot of different perspectives because everyone has a unique experience with this exact topic, and so hearing, you know, the different perspectives, I think is fairly dynamic. So I'm here, man. I'm alive.
Yeah. Let's go to Wide Lady, and then we'll go to Mr. Turtles.
Sure. Yo, so I mean, yeah, I just wanted to go on the topic of like how brands are going to be interacting with meme coins, right? Like I think this meme coin cycle is one where we're kind of like sussing out the use case of meme coins. Like what can they be used for? Because you know all the old crypto heads are like, this is pointless. It's vaporware. It's just gambling. It doesn't mean anything. But there are like actual legitimate uses for meme coins, and I think number one is corporate marketing, right? As you guys were saying before, like I think it's totally true that corporations can use these meme communities that as like boots on the ground for pushing their products in social media and stuff like that. It's like they can get a social media team without paying for it, right? That's super attractive to a corporation. And then number two, it would be like the exchanges should be able to use meme coins to onboard normies into crypto. One of the original
As you guys can see, just beautiful, beautiful stuff that they are talking about. Definitely give, Jules in DeFi a follow. Give Jules in DeFi a follow again, and give Soka Data a follow. And go ahead, give everyone a follow on the stage. Just great stuff, great stuff. They posted us up here on the Jumbotron, so much love for that. Thank you for letting us, come up and talk. Yeah, that's going to be the end of the stream, you guys. I thank you so much